Hey everyone. When the Indian stock market is sending all sorts of mixed signals, the one question on everyone's mind is, where is the real strength hiding? Well, today, we're going to go find it.
Because let's be honest, when the broader market is just kind of treading water, the real trick is to look under the hood, right? You've got to find those pockets, those sectors that aren't just getting by, but are actually set to thrive.
And this is where the story gets really interesting. Just look at this contrast. On one hand, you've got the Nifty 50, that's the big broad market index, and it's just kind of holding on near its 200-day average. But then you look at the Bank Nifty, and wow, it's trading right near its all-time high. That, my friends, is what we call relative strength, and it's a huge clue about where the smart money is moving. So that's exactly what we're going to do in this explainer. We're zooming right in on that strength. We're going to break down the charts of 3 specific banking stocks that are all sitting at a really critical potential breakout point.
So let's see how this actually looks on a chart. First up on our list, Axis Bank.
Okay, I want you to remember this number, 1,339 rupees. That is the all-time high for Axis Bank, and it's the level that literally everyone is watching right now. So here's the backstory. The stock hit that peak way back in July 2024, and for months after, it just traded below it. But then, right around January 2025, you could feel a shift. The momentum started to pick back up, and buyers were clearly getting interested again. And that brings us to today. The price action is now carving out this beautiful, classic pattern of higher highs and higher lows. For anyone who follows charts, this is a textbook signal that strength is building up in a really healthy, methodical way.
All right, moving on to our second example. This one's got a slightly different story, but it is just as compelling. Let's take a look at AU Small Finance Bank. Now, the key number here is much smaller, but believe me, it is no less important. 62 rupees. This was the stock's all-time high set on the very first day it ever traded.
So picture this, the stock has a massive debut, way back in December 2019, and hits that 62 rupee mark. But then, as it often happens post-IPO, the price kind of cooled off and went through a correction. It took a while, but starting around July of 2022, a very steady recovery began, slowly but surely clawing its way back to that initial peak.
And that's exactly where we are now. The stock is right up against that original all-time high, a level that has pretty much acted like a ceiling, or what analysts call a resistance zone, for years.
And for our third and final case study, let's turn to another giant in the banking space, Kotak Mahindra Bank.
The magic number we're watching for Kotak is 460 rupees. You guessed it, that's its all-time high.
Now this one's a bit more recent. The stock tagged that 460 rupee peak in April of 2025. And since then, it's just been trading in a tight range right below it. This sideways dance is called consolidation.
And this is so important to understand. You might look at that sideways action and think it's losing steam, but that's not the story at all. In fact, analysts see this kind of consolidation just below a major high as a massive buildup of strength. Think of it like a spring coiling tighter and tighter, just getting ready to launch.
Okay, so we've looked at 3 different banks with 3 slightly different stories, but all of them are leading us to the same crucial moment. So what's the one signal, the trigger, that could confirm a big new move for all of them?
Well, it really comes down to these 3 simple steps. First, you have the setup, which is what's happening right now. The stock is flirting with its all-time high. The confirmation, the real green light, is step 2, a weekly candle closing decisively above that old high. Not just touching it, but closing above it. If and when that happens, that's the signal that a fresh, powerful new upward move could be underway.
This is just a perfect example of how these simple technical patterns can help you spot incredible opportunities across an entire sector. So, after seeing these 3 stocks all coiled up and ready at such a critical point, the big question for you is, which one of these is now on your radar?